Hey folks, another day, another unboxing, this time coming to you live. It's been a little while since I've done a live video, but I'm super excited because today I have the Honor 10 to unbox. Yes, this phone here is the Honor 10, as you can see. But before I open that box, I want to point out this phone here, the Huawei P20, regular P20, not Pro P20. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because the similarities between these two phones is completely uncanny in terms of specs, and yet the Honor is so much cheaper. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about the Honor 10. Let's talk about the P20 regular, not Pro. And let's compare them in terms of, what you should get, really. I mean, the bottom line is I've never played with the 10, yet it's been around for a bit, so I'm really excited to get this and try it out. So again, this is P20, this is the Honor 10. Let's unbox the Honor 10 and kind of compare them real quick. All right, so let's start with what's in the box. Honor 10, Honor 10, some barcodes. As you can see, this is a 4 GB, 128 gig version. There's a 6 GB and also an 8 GB version of this phone. But notice immediately, these are the same specs as the P20. 128 gigs, 4 gigs. So that's interesting. Nothing in the back. Now, I will be honest with you, I always check out my boxes before I open them just to make sure I have a bit of an idea of what I'm going to unbox. But this has been opened before, and the reason you're going to say, well, why are you unboxing it then? Well, because it's still kind of cool to see what's inside the box. A lot of the devices I get are press devices. They're review units for the media. I'm the journalist, so I get these things, and some of them have been opened, some of them are pre-production, some of them have been used by someone else before. So that's the way it is, and there's nothing you can do. So without further ado, let's open this up. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's taking forever. There we go. Nothing inside the box. And there it is. A very dusty Honor 10. Look at how shiny that is. Wow. Madness. So there it is. And immediately you notice, if I move this box out of the way, you'll really notice, holy similarity, Batman. Let me fire it up so you can see what I mean by holy similarity, Batman. Here is the two of them side by side, and you can see that they have a notch. They have a display that looks identical. What the hell's going on here? Well, as you know, Huawei and Honor are essentially the same company. So this is not too surprising. Now, the P20 here, regular P20, is a pretty expensive phone. I don't know, $7-something, $100, $800, whatever. The P20 Pro is even more, but this is only $500. This is 400 euros, so you can get it for less than $500. Now, it's not available in the US originally, as far as I know officially, but it is here. You can get it in gray market, all that good stuff. So the question is, should you buy the P20? Should you buy the Honor 10? And that's why this unboxing is a little different format. I will look through the box, but I want to kind of really go over these two phones and talk about them in more detail. But first, let's finish unboxing, shall we? Here we go. So we open the box. As you can see, there's no screen protector on this phone. This is why I know it's been opened before. And as I said, I always check really quickly because a lot of these devices are review units for the media, and they come sometimes without screen protectors. I've been used before, I've been started before. They're usually in mint condition no matter what. So there you go. Divider. And here is a little compartment with some stuff in it. You can immediately see there's a SIM removal tool. And, nice. There's a translucent, what it looks like translucent protective case, which is nice to have on these glass phones. You can choose to use it or not. So a little insert in there. I'm not going to remove it, but you get the idea. Nice little transparent case. You still see how beautiful the phone is without having to worry about dropping it. What else is in here? That's it. So you can see also no manuals with this unit. So this is typical of some pre-production press kind of devices. Sometimes they don't come with all the right things. But as you can see, this might not have been used much because The charger is still in its wrapper here, European charger, European prongs, USB-A, and then the cable hasn't been used either. You can see USB Type-C on one end, USB-A on the other end. Now remember, this is a super fast charger from Huawei. Notice it says Huawei Supercharge, not Honor Supercharge. Haha. Yep, same company. So this is a super fast charger from Huawei. It'll work and charge this phone super quickly. You have to use it with the proper cable though, and otherwise it doesn't work. You can use a regular USB-C charger and it'll charge, but not as fast. And you can use this with a regular cable and it will charge, but not as fast. And you can use this cable with a regular charger and it will charge, but not as fast. But if you want super fast charging, you have to use this cable with this charger from Huawei. And ta-da, it's kind of like OnePlus. So that's what's in this box, folks. There's nothing else, no manuals, no nothing. So let's compare these two phones, okay? Now here we are. I'm not going to set up the Honor 10. So if you're curious right now, on the left is the P20, on the right is the Honor 10. Now don't get confused because they look the same from the front, right? Fingerprint reader here, you see it. I don't know if you see it. It's under the glass. Let's see if I can... Damn, it's hard to see. There's an oval. I don't know if you can see it in video, but maybe there. You can see the light kind of catching the edge. There's the oval. There's an oval right here. It's basically it's embedded in the display, but not under it. Okay. Whereas on the P20, it's actually a depression in the display. It's actually you can see it, you can feel it. So that's one difference. Notch is pretty much identical. But here's the thing. If you do a bit of research, they're both IPS panel. They're both 1080p. But this one has 40 more pixels in height. 40. Very little, in fact. So if I'm lining them up, you might not even be able to notice. Also, more rounded corner. Look at the rounded corners on this display. Very subtle here, right? But this one, much more pronounced. It's amazing to me that Huawei has the budget to get a custom display for each of these, that they didn't actually settle for the same screen on both of them. It's slightly different for both screens. So they're both 1080p, they're both IPS, but one has 40 pixels more in vertical height. And you know, width and all that is the same. 19.5 by 9 display. So ultra wide, very good, very narrow, feels good in hand. Fingerprint reader embedded under the glass, below the display, not in the display. Notch that can be removed in software. Then in the back, it's a very different story. Now the P20 comes in different shades. There's one that looks like super shiny and reflective like that. This is the black, in case you're wondering. And other than the camera pod orientation, there's very little difference yet again. Both are glass sandwiches. Both are about the same thickness. If you put them side by side, look at that. I mean, they're dead ringers of each other, right? Some differences in ports, and I'll go over these in a second. There is a headphone jack on the Honor 10, which is awesome. But look at the layout, right? So let's talk about those differences. This has a headphone jack, first of all, which the P20 doesn't have, right there. With USB Type-C, mono speaker on the bottom. Looks like a microphone next to the mono speaker. Yeah, standard stuff. On the left-hand side, nothing but the SIM slot. On the right-hand side, you get the power lock key and the volume rocker. Now, there's no way to distinguish these, no ridges or color differentiation. On the P20, you've got a little red dot, and also you can feel that dot, so you can actually tell them apart a little better. Some phones have like a bit of ridging on here, so on the metal, which is nice. On top, though, what's very interesting is that the P20 does not have an infrared transmitter, which the Honor 10 has. At least I don't think it does. This is just a secondary mic. The P20 Pro might have the transmitter. I can't remember right now. Or is it one of the mates? Anyway, here you go. What else is there? And that's it. As I said, fingerprint reader embedded in the glass here, right below it. You can kind of see it there. But that's it. So here's the other crazy thing. This is a $500 less than $500 phone. This is like a $600 or $700 phone. And let me swap them again so that you're going to get confused. P20 on the left, Honor 10 on the right. Yet spec-wise, they're almost identical. In this case, they are pretty much identical. 3,400 milliamp hour battery. I talked about the displays, so they're slightly different. Kirin 970, which is Huawei's highest end chip. We've got 4 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of storage. The difference is that you can get the Honor 10 with 6 or 8 gigs of storage. You have to go to the P20 Pro to get more of RAM, 6 or 8 gigs of RAM. You get to go to the P20 Pro to get more RAM on Huawei. So it's kind of insane how quickly Huawei specs trickle down to their Honor brand. And of course, you get a headphone jack, which is a bonus. So that's, essentially the differences. You've got the same 24 megapixel f/2 camera in the front. And so in imaging, you got some differences. These two phones have the same crazy AI camera systems. They're identical in that, but the specs are different. As you know, the P20 has a 12 megapixel large pixel f/1.8 camera with 1.5 micron pixels as a primary, as a 20 megapixel secondary f/1.6 black and white camera. This has a 16 megapixel color camera. I don't know what the pixel size is, but it's f/1.8, and it's got a 24 megapixel black and white, also f/1.8. So a little difference, a little cheaper in terms of hardware here on Honor 10 for the camera for sure. And of course, no Leica branding, but again, it's the same AI. So it'll be really interesting to see if it holds up to the P20 and maybe at least for non-zoom photography to the P20 Pro in terms of performance, this Honor 10. So that's basically it. You can see the camera pod in a little closer up here with those two lenses and the flash and the AI camera stencil here. Honor stencil. This is a beautiful looking device, I'll tell you. It looks way better in real life than it does on this video, I'm afraid to say. So stay tuned. I'm going to have more about this on my podcast. Again, if you're new to this channel only exists to support my podcast, really, right? So mobiletechpodcast.com is where the podcast lives. Please subscribe to it. We're on iTunes, on Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Overcast, Slacker, Stitcher, TuneIn, everywhere. And also, remember that ultimately you should subscribe to this channel as well, because that way you get the visuals that go with the podcast, because the audio podcast is only audio. And then subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. Tell your friends about everything. I'll have more soon. I got a whole bunch of devices to unbox. I'm not going to do live videos of all of them today, but stay tuned the next few days to have more videos of phones and cameras and things that I have received. All right. Cheers, folk. Thanks for signing on, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.